What's good, everyone? What is good? Welcome back to the channel. With usually, of course, Mac. You don't understand how much of an idiot I feel right now. But what's good, everyone? What is good? Welcome to the channel. With usually, of course, Mac. Hope you're having a great day today. And today we're back with another Since First Be Built. As we are making, I have no clue because I'm pre-recording this commentary because we're gonna continue. I guess not rants anymore. I'm done with the rants. That rant is done and over with. I'm still fuming because again, it's only been like 5 minutes since the last talk, but we can switch the subject to something else. But I am so embarrassed. Like I'm honestly like so tempted not to post it. It's funny because you're gonna get the first half of me talking about it when it's out, because I'm posting these commentaries tomorrow. Today's Sunday, so we'll know tonight. And so you're probably watching like, oh shoot, you're gonna like if you watch the show, you're gonna know like, oh shoot, Malik's gonna be mad tomorrow, or oh shoot, Malik's gonna be happy tomorrow. It's either one or mad or happy. I just again, we're not gonna get into it, but yeah, that's his life. So moving on from that, today though we're gonna talk about a TV show I did watch, or some not TV shows, some movies I have been watching. I am watching TV show right now. I just started I'm watching a new Turkish TV show. If you haven't known this, I have been watching Turkish TV shows for a long time. I've been branching out. First start off with English shows, then I started off with what was my first show out of English shows? I think it was Korean dramas. My first ever Korean drama was Super Rookie. Probably don't know about it. It came out in like 2005, 2006. Old show. I watched it on Crunchyroll back in the day. I was bored. I won't forget that. I think I skipped school that day and I was bored, so I decided to watch a Korean drama because at that point everyone was talking about Boys Over Flowers, but of course I didn't want to watch that one first because I was edgy back then, so I found a different one, and it was Rookie Blue, and I really liked it. Really liked it a lot. I don't think I finished. I think I got to like episode 12 out of 16, and then I quit it. Again, wasn't bad at all. Once this couple get together and they're happy-go-lucky, I think the show's done. I don't really care for the misunderstandings because a lot of them are stupid. So once the characters are happy and they're in love and happy, like about episode 12, because if you have never watched a Korean drama, this is how it goes most of the times. They first in either in episode 1 and 2, because it's like 2 episodes a week. So episode 1 and 2 is the meeting. So probably episode 1 is the backstory. Mostly happens sometimes is episode 1 is the backstory, and you get a look into each character's lives, and then by the end of episode 1 they fully meet. Episode 2 is where they meet, or probably what happens is episode 1 they meet for the first time and they don't realize it, and then they meet again during episode 2, or they meet again for the first time and then they get into some kerfuffle and then their lives get joined that way, or it's still the backstory and they meet at the end of episode 2, because again it's 2 episodes per week, and the first episode is just about the characters getting to know their scenery, a little bit about them and how they meet. Episode 3 and 4 is more the main storyline. You'll see like how it revolves around them, whether it be like for example, one of my favorites is Suspicious Partner. In episode 3 and 4 they join. I think that's when they started. Maybe not. Episode 3 and 4 is like the lead up to the main story, if that makes any sense. So for Suspicious Partner, I think one of the lawyers had his own law firm, and then something happened, and then by episode 4 they ended up quitting that law firm and they came together and joined the new law firm. So that was the beginning of the new story, was their new law firm. So episode 3 and 4 is just the beginning of the storyline, if that makes any sense. Like it loads up to like what needs to happen. So another one, for example, if it's about doctors, episode 3 and 4 will probably be about the doctors making a mistake, and so at the end of episode 4 they have to become a team, and do something together. Like they form a united front. Episode 4. So during episode 6, 5, and 6, that's when they actually do the main part. So episode 5 and 6 is when the characters okay, that's a lie too. Back to episode 3 and 4. This is when one of the characters start showing feelings for another character. The other character is there, like they have little nudges here and there. It's nothing too big, but one character you can tell at that point, especially if it's a romance. If it's not mainly romance anime, then you anime K drama, you won't see it. But if it's a big K drama one, you'll see them gradually starting to form a romantic connection, while the other one probably has no clue what's happening. And then by episode 5 and 6, that's when the second person comes in, and then they realize that they're starting to feel some emotion to them too. And then that's when like the bickering and the banter starts coming in play, and the little sexual connection or sexual tension starts coming in play through 5 and 6. And that's also when a big chunk of the storyline happens is 5 and 6. 5 and 6 are kind of the most important, for me at least, they're the most important part, because that's when the characters start developing the feelings. If you know me, I love more watching them to become a couple than when they're actually a couple, because I find, oh, the buildup is gone now, they're a couple now. But so 5 and 6 are like my most important episodes, and then by episode 7 and 8, that's most likely when the first kiss happens. It mostly happens by the end of episode 8. That's when, actually, nowadays with Korean dramas, you'll actually see the first kiss at the beginning. It'll probably like an accident kiss, those fisheye kisses, or they'll probably have a misunderstanding or something will happen and they'll have their first kiss. So most of the time, the first kiss happens either in like episode 1 or 2, or it happens on episode like 7 or 8, sometimes 9, even 10. But most of the times, from my experience, it happens on like episode 8. They'll get the first kiss, and then episode, and then also at that time, that's when the story, like, again, depends on if it's straight romance story, then that's when the relationship really starts to build, and that's when the first kiss happens. If it's an action story, that's when like the case starts getting really good and they're getting to the climax at that point. And then episode 8 and 9, episode 9 and 10 is when so pretty much episode 9 is the awkward stage, when like they have their first kiss and they're like, what do we do? They're in like a limbo, like, do we get together, do we not? This is the point where they start getting like the little touchy feelies, do we go on their first date? Like, this is where they start forming that relationship. It's the awkward phase of like, we just kissed, like, now what? And so that happens. And then this is also the point in the show where I'll say not the climax, but it gets to the point where they're about to solve the case. The bad guy's right there in their grips. They're about to claim it. We're all excited. We know the next episode is gonna be them catching the bad guys at that point, or solving the case, whatever it is. We're at that point with episode 9 and 10. Then I'll say this, episode 11 is where they're happy-go-lucky. That's when they decide they're gonna get together. That's when they decide they're gonna like fall. That's where they decide, I love you. That's where they found the killer and they're about to catch him. That's when they decide that they're gonna date and that they're not gonna tell anybody, or they're gonna tell people. That's just when it should be concluded. That should be the conclusion. But no, because in episode 12, that's when the misunderstanding happens. There's always a misunderstanding. Whatever it is, there is a misunderstanding in something. Whether it be that someone gets amnesia and they forget everything, or somebody gets away, or there's loose evidence, someone breaks the file, so they have to start from the beginning, or romance comes, the second lead gets the girl to see something she shouldn't see, and so she has to break up the guy and she doesn't talk to him anymore. Or the mother-in-law gets involved, the mother gets involved and scares the girl off. Episode 12 is just carnage. It's just drama. It's just stuff that does not need to happen, honestly. It's just that's when the misunderstanding hits. That's when the headache hits. That's just episode 12 is the episode you don't want to miss it, because that's kind of leads off to the next episodes. But that's just when the extra drama hits. And then episode 13, it's kind of the fallout of the drama, whether it be them being yelled at because they messed up, whether it be them crying because they broke up with their love interest. It's just the fallout of episode 12. That's what episode 13 is. Episode 14 is pretty much the climax peak. Like, at the end of episode 14 is when they decide, you know what? The BS happened. We're gonna solve this misunderstanding. BS happened. We're gonna solve this case. That's when it's coming up to the point where they're gonna wrap it up now. Episode 14, Episode 15 is the wrap up stage. Episode 15 is pretty much the point. That's the climax. That's when they catch the boss. That's when they decide they're going to be together forever. That's when the wedding happens. No, not the wedding happens, but like that's when they said, yeah, be together forever. That's when all the misunderstanding goes away. Episode at the end of at the end, it's either gonna happen in the middle of episode 15 or the end. That's when everything that's a climax hits, and episode 16 is just the wrap up. That's where they get married. That's where it's the backstory of what happens after the case is done. The backstory of what happens after the life is saved, after the team breaks up. It's just to wrap everything up in a nice little bow and to give it to you. That's what episode 16 is. It's just to make sure everything ends off pretty. And the show ends. So that's pretty much like my synopsis of how a K-drama goes. Again, I've been watching K-dramas since like grade 9. So I could be totally wrong now because I don't really watch a lot of them nowadays, because a lot of them are mainly like, it's funny how phases happens, because back when I was watching it, it was like a phase of office dramas, you know, the ones where it's a poor girl and the rich boss guy, she either works for him or she doesn't, whatever. But that was the phase I was in. I love that phase, you know. It was the high school bullies, that type of drama phase I was in. Now we're in like the medical and the lawyer and the crime phase, which I'm cool with. I love a good crime, but I've watched so many of them already. A lot of them are really unoriginal. So I don't really watch K-dramas right now. I'm not a big fan of them. So again, the storyline could totally mix up, and I could be totally wrong with what I was saying, but back in the days, if you watch the old ones, that's pretty much the layout of them, the storyline. But anyways, again, I didn't talk about anything I want to talk about in this part, but that's fine. Hopefully y'all enjoyed. Thank y'all for watching, and of course I'll talk to you about, and I'll talk to you on the next one. I'm out. See you guys later. I love y'all. Peace.